So I think my wife is walking around trying to find my children who are room. Oh, she is. She's in the bathroom. So when you see her, she's in the bathroom. So I've been playing music live since I was 14.
12.
Yeah, 12. And I've never played in a library before. So I'm going to try to not be too loud. And but I grew up in Foxboro. I graduated from Foxboro High School in 1990. And I have been fortunate enough to travel all over the place performing over the years. And but I haven't played here in Foxboro. My wife's also a musician. She's here today, and I guess we played together here 18 years ago, right when we first met, and I think that was the last time I performed in Foxboro. So it's neat to be here, and what I thought I would do, because I'm not at a noisy, loud bar, or I'm in a library. That's where I am. So I thought I would kind of try to tell some stories here about how I kind of got into this whole music thing, and kind of how being here in Foxboro kind of influenced that a little bit, because I was a part of the music program here in Foxboro when I was younger. I didn't love being in the music program. I liked to just play noisy rock and roll music, but I was certainly kind of coached on how to play and perform and stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play for like an hour or so, and here we go. Well, I figure out my motorcycle, wrap a pretty little frame around a telephone pole, right around my mountain like old Harlow. Figure out my real motorcycle. Well, I figure I'll walk to the liquor store, from the bird 2 bottles, maybe 3, maybe 4. Follow my feet down the music road. Pour it on the paper like you would a tombstone. Like you would a tombstone. Like you would a tombstone. Pour it on the paper like you would a tombstone. Well, I figure out where you're feeling this way. Pop another pill, hop another train. Tell my brothers and my sisters that you can be sane. Figure out where you're feeling this way. Well, I figure out my motorcycle, wrap a pretty little frame around a telephone pole, right off my mountain like old Harlow. Figure out my real motorcycle. Figure out my real motorcycle. Figure out my real motorcycle. Hey. So before I forget to tell this story, I'm going to tell it. So I haven't been in this library since I was 18 years old. And when I was 18 years old, I had a fake ID of a friend of mine who was older than me. And he was 21, and I was a huge music lover, and I loved to go to the different clubs in Boston and Providence, but I couldn't get in because I wasn't 21. So he allowed me to get into those clubs and do whatever I felt like, actually, when I was at those clubs, by giving me his license, or his liquor ID. And but every time I would go, they would ask me if I had backup, or if I had some secondary form of ID that indicated that I was actually a person that I wasn't. So I didn't. So I came to the library with the idea that I would get another library card. And then I would, if somebody asked me, I would say, yeah, I've got a library card. And thought that would, allow me to do whatever I wanted to do. And so I came in, and so the lady said, how do you what's your name? And the person whose ID I had was his last name was kind of tricky to spell, trickier than I knew how to spell. And so I told her how to spell his last name and what his address was. And she looked up all of the different people who had cards here and said, well, it's funny because I have a whole family full of people that live here on Walnut Street that have almost the identical spelling to your last name, but you have 2 R's in your last name. And I ran out of the library. I was afraid I was going to get arrested by the library police. And I'm confident I've never set foot back in this library since then. And then I'm just finish this thought, and then I'll go back to doing music because I guess that's why you're here. I went and I tried to get into it. I tried to buy alcohol at a place, and a person looked at me and he said, "You're not Jeff?" And I said, I am Jeff. And he said, "I've been friends with Jeff since I was 5 years old." And I tried to grab the ID away from him, and he ripped it away from my hand, and I ran out of the store, and then I didn't have an ID after that. So there you go. Begin. You've been living in sin, and I don't know where I should go. You threw me out in the cold. You threw me out in the cold. And I'm just sick about it. I'm going out of my mind. Yeah, I'm just sick about it, I'm going out of my mind. Oh, just where you are. And me, I'm living in my car. I've got nothing, baby. I've got nothing, baby, since you're gone. One time I thought it was real. Took my heart, yeah, you still. I love you all night and all day. I don't even know how to pray. Yeah, I don't even know how to pray. Yeah, and I'm just sick about it. I'm going out of my mind. Yeah, I'm just sick about it, I'm going out of my mind. Home is where you are. Yeah, me, I'm living in my own car. I've got nothing, baby. I've got nothing, baby. Since you're gone. Home is where you are. I'm living in my heart. I've got nothing, I've got nothing, baby, since you're gone. Since you're gone. Hey. Just so you know, some of these songs will be happy. There's a songwriter who I really love, a guy by the name of Towns Van Zandt. It's not particularly well known, but he's a great Texas songwriter. And someone asked him why all his songs were so sad, and he said, not all my songs are sad. Some of them are about hopelessness. And so, so I try to mix it up a little bit. So we'll try to do that as we go here. Oh, now where are you going for 250 time? Well, I'm waiting for a sign and it looks just like another night. And I'm walking backwards from the place that I came from. But that ain't enough, no, you want me to run. Used to feel like California, baby, I so do. Now I feel like Carolina, I split myself in two. And I'm walking backwards from Chicago to Washington. But that ain't enough, no, you want me. Better watch your soul, or it'll leave you like a hundred bucks. My friend said stick to your guns, but instead I just got stuck. And I'm walking backwards, looking forward to getting done. But that ain't enough, no, you want me to run. But that ain't enough, no, you want me. Used to feel like California, baby, I see. Now I feel like Carolina, I split myself in two. And I'm walking backwards to the place where I came from. Yeah, but that ain't enough, but you want me to run. Yeah, that ain't enough, but you want me. Thank you. Thank you very much. My dad's here, and he was a longtime teacher here at Foxboro High School, and really kind of taught me everything I know about music. He played a little guitar, but he just had an incredibly great taste in music. And so he had a mammoth record collection that I devoured at an incredibly young age. And by the time I was 11 or 12, I was kind of able to play a little bit. And so my dad turned 70 or whatever. He got old a few years ago, and I went so I spent all of my 20s as a musician, kind of a poor, noisy rock and roll musician, and I met my wife and decided to become an adult, and so I did. I got a day job. I stopped doing music. We bought a house. We have two beautiful kids there. I have proof of two beautiful kids right there. And and just stopped doing music altogether for 12 years. There were literally years where I didn't touch a guitar, and then so a few years ago, my dad was always such a just so good about music. He never pressured me to do music, but he was really the guy that was dragging me around to the club and helping me carry my amp when I was 17 and didn't have a car or whatever. So anyway, I decided I'd record a couple songs and kind of give them to him for his birthday. And so I wrote a couple songs, and then I wrote more songs, and then I wrote more songs, and then all of a sudden I had an album. And then I put out the album about 3 years ago, and people liked it. And so I started to do music again. And so since then, it's a kind of cool thing because my kids are 12 and 10, and so they've got to, I drag them around to all these things, but it's been neat. I mean, and so just last month they were in Nashville with me when I was down there performing, and I've got to really play all over the Northeast and up to Toronto and as far south as Nashville, and so it was not anything I anticipated doing again, but here we are. So anyway, that's a story. One of my favorite bands when I was a kid. I don't think she's here. No, I don't think. Yeah. So I got this awesome email from this woman who said she saw a little sign somewhere for me here, and she was thinking about buying a home in Foxboro, and she had young kids, and she was curious if Foxboro was this super sports town, or she noticed that I was a musician, that I'd grown up here or whatever, and it certainly was a very sports-driven town when I was here, but that was a long time ago, and I kind of wasn't a very good athlete, but I loved sports, and I could play guitar a little bit. But I loved a band called REM when I was in high school, and they just resonated with me so much when I was a kid, and that's one band I think about a lot when I think back to living here. So this is a song about it. I'm not the type of dog that will keep you waiting for no good reason. Run a carbon black test on my jaw, and you will find it's all the same. I can swing my megaphone in long arguments. It's easier and better to just do it for a chance. The desire, I could walk into this room in the way knock you down on the undertone. So in my life, your hair shine on the lowest floor. It's a beautiful life. I can hang my hair way up high in the attic of the world. God's life shines. Oh, Mary. All my life, I search for them. Here I am. You're fine. I'm gonna play a happy one now. When I was a teenager, my parents got divorced, which was fun. And when I was like 13 years old, I was like writing all these songs about like bad love and breakups and and then when I got to be older, I had like a lot of like rock and roll girlfriends that were just terrible, and I was able to continue writing songs about bad love and breakups. And then I met my wife, and it kind of screwed the whole thing up because she's totally fine. She's like, I like her. 99% of the time, she's terrific. And so I couldn't write songs anymore because she was fine. And so that's around the time I stopped doing music. And no, she didn't get worse as time went back. And she's still fine. But for all these years, that's what I've done is write these songs about kind of bad love or whatever. So as I've gotten older and kind of live like the boring suburban dad life that I live, I'm able to kind of write about other things that I perceive to be the case, and sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, I guess, but I'm able to write about other things than that is what I'm trying to say. This song is a song called Let's Go to the Beach, and it's kind of happy, it's like upbeat, you guys are going to like have fun, I think. I don't know, but I've been told that watching TV can make you old, and I don't want to be old. Let's go to the beach, 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 yeah. I've been doing some thinking, yeah, I mixed between the drinking about moving away. What do you say, honey? Me, you, and the beach. Honey, when we get ourselves on out there to California, honey, I'm gonna do me some of those things that you say that you crave. Not the clam time. No, man time. Yeah, you know what, honey, I would do that for you. Let's go to the beach, baby. Yeah. I've been thinking West Coast, maybe doing some singing and doing some soaps. Maybe both. And I'll be singing songs like I'm on a Jack Wagner, singing songs like I'm on a Jack Wagner. I don't know about money, yeah, honey, I ain't got me none. So if I'm gonna be broke, well, I might as well be broken down here under the sun. Under the sun! Me, you, and the beach. Oh, honey, you know it's true. You know I do it for you. disagree with that. That's why I play other people's songs a lot, so that to try to work some in. On a rainy Wednesday morning, that's the day that I was born. That old sharecropper one that took a shot. They say my mama left me the day before she had me. Said she hit the road and never lost her back. I'd just like to mention my grandma's old age pension. It's the reason why I'm standing here today. Yeah, built in the church, picking cotton trees in hell. But I've been to Georgia on a fast train. But I wasn't born on yesterday. Got a good Christian raising, man. They need great education, man. Need me all to be treated this way. Well, my sweet Carolina, well, I don't guess I'll ever find another woman put together like you are. Love your wiggle and your walking and your big city talking and your brand new shiny little drag top. Yes, hurry up and leave this land of giving to. Seems like haste makes for waste every time. I'm glad to my soul when I hear those engines roar. Yeah, you know I'm gonna get my share of that. But I've been to Georgia on a fast train. But I wasn't born no yesterday. Got a good Christian raising, and ain't great education. Need for y'all to be treated this way. I've been to Georgia on a fast train. Well, I wasn't born no yesterday. Got a good Christian raising, ain't great education. Ain't for y'all that you treated me this way. Yeah. Hey, that's a really good show. I have a new album coming up soon, and this song is called "Permanent Crush" and is a part of that album, and it sounds exactly like this. Yeah, you know it's true, I'm probably never gonna find myself a girl who loves me just the way. For all the tears and all the pain and all the broken hearted moments, still the one who always broken. Well, everything's a bit changing, it seems like maybe so many times to go man. I love you when I was broken. Love me just a little more when I see my head. But I keep hanging around. I'm gonna love you. I'll love this goes down. I ain't asking for much. You're my permanent crush. I'm gonna love you till all of this goes down. But I keep hanging around. I'm gonna love you all of this goes down. I ain't asking for much. You're my permanent crush. I'm gonna love you all of this goes down. When I was in when I was growing up, we didn't go to church a whole lot when I was a kid. We did when I was really young, but I went to St. Mary's when I was young. But I didn't. We were not regular church-going folk, and then as I got older and I started to perform with bands from all over the country, especially southern bands, you would see this real influence of religion in their music. And it was when we were down in Nashville a couple weeks ago. We actually went to a place on Broadway where they had like a Sunday bluegrass brunch, and they had like kind of gospel music and things like that. And when I was in my late 20s, I guess I really kind of found Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and folks like that. And I, for me at least, I just kind of felt kind of this almost like gospel-like quality in a lot of what they did, and it became really a big part of how I write songs and a lot of the music that I listen to. So I'm just going to do a couple of songs that are kind of in that vein. Highway, she's hotter than 9 times a day. Rides on excuses. Run it down the last shot. Nothing to say. Ain't too far away from the train. It's been a good month of Sundays. The guitar was good. I had a tall drink yesterday's wife. Lost a lot of good friends. Satisfied with it behind. So ride me down easy, ride me on down. Leave word in the dust where I lay. Easy come, easy go, easy love when I stay. Put snow on the mountains, raise hell on the hills, hot toes with the hills stay. Been a rodeo buck, some of the night, and a Oh, the stars in the sky. So ride me down, easy road, ride me on down. The word of the dust when I'm easy come, easy go, easy love when I stay. Ride me down easy, Lord, ride me on down. Easy come, easy go, easy love when I stay. At my door the leaves are falling, cold wild wind to come. Sweethearts walk by together, I still miss them. I go out to all the parks and look for but I find that God, I still miss some. Though I never got over those blue eyes, I see them living away. I miss those arms and days when all the love was there. I wonder if she saw or even what we've become. There's someone for me somewhere. I still miss someone. Though I never got over those blue eyes, I see them every day. I miss those arms that held when all the love was there. I wonder if she saw or even what we become. There's someone for me somewhere. I still miss someone, but I still miss her. But I still miss someone. I still miss her. Thank you. Thank you so much. Growing up in Foxboro, one of the awesome things, obviously, when you're a teenage kid, was that the concerts at Foxboro Stadium, and forget that too. And my friend Alicia here is in front here, and her brother Kevin and I weren't always the best listeners, and we sometimes did things we shouldn't have done, a lot. And one of the great things about Foxboro Stadium back then, when you were a teenager, was it wasn't like it wasn't like it is today. It was just like chain link fence keeping you out and things like that. So Kev and I had figured out that if you just took wire cutters from Kev's dad, you could just go up to the chain link fence and just like cut the little thing and then sneak under and run in. And so we saw a lot of concerts that way. And I told my kids are here hearing all of these stories. They're smart enough to know I wasn't listening. But when I was about 14, Madonna came to town, and I was probably 15 years old. And so, you know, as a guy that really, really liked girls when I was 15 years old, there was literally 60,000 15-year-old girls dressed as Madonna. So Kevin and I, we went up and we did our little wire cutting trick, and then we'd do it right by the men's room. So the men's room door would open, you could run right into the door, and then they'd never be able to find you, right? You just kind of mix in. And so that's what we did, except at the Madonna concert, there was like no men in there. It was just, you know, because we were the only ones there. But nonetheless, we got to go and hang out, and I bought my first pack of cigarettes when I was about 15 there, and fortunately was smart enough to quit years later. So anyway, the Foxboro Stadium certainly had a big part in my music.
Thought I found the answer, cut into my own. Now I'm feeling low, I got nowhere to go. I don't wanna do it again. First time I loved you, second time I wanted some more. They keep bringing more, they found me on the floor. Yeah, I don't wanna do it again. But when you leave me, I'm no fun to be around. Breaking into cars and shooting like a star. I don't want to do it. No one made me do it. No one made me do it again. Was hoping you would see the better possibly, so I don't want to do it again. But when the evening comes, I'm walking out that door. But when the evening comes, I don't want to know how this is going to go. I don't want to do it. Was hoping you would see the better part of me. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. Thank you. Even though I'm drinking, it's got me thinking now I won't be wrong this time. I was still the same, till I hit the floor, and then I looked for more. And I don't know how much more I could say. Yeah, you know that I ain't going away. You know I've got a bruisable heart, softly living the loud life, mainly because no one cares, and those who did got scared. I was always thinking to myself, there's gotta be a better way. There's probably more that I She thought of hanging in the morning. I clarify her mind. She'd leave it all behind. I was always thinking to myself, there's gotta be a better way. There's probably more that I can say other than saying goodbye. And I don't know how much more I could do. Yeah, you know that I'm in love. You know I've got a bruisable heart. You know I've got a bruisable heart. Oh, oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I'll do a few more and then I'll let you have the rest of your afternoon back. I have CDs, I have t-shirts, if you still use a CD player or if you still wear t-shirts. My two young daughters are always happy to take your money. They usually are much better at selling stuff than I am. Right on my road, road to the light. You ain't no dead driver. You don't take it fast. Creep on my road, miles between the lines. Just street climb your ladder, all alone on the highway, northern Carolina, with which you night, riding low, with riders this time. Right on my ride, go take yours, lay it down on the highway, let it just roll off your chest. Oh, just trust your Lord. Understand the spirit of the highway. Won't let you lose control. All along on the highway, there's no other kind of life with which you night, driving low, the ride is just time. Right on that line, tramming gears and kicking tires, it's always fill your stomach with knowledge, sit down for days on drinking gallons of coffee, and wishing that you only had one. But you're alone on the highway. You know how time comes, but thank God for millions you're sure. Talk to you how I only want what's not in store. I wanted one like the one he had, but the lady said they don't make them anymore. It's really driving me crazy, and if I let it, it'll ruin my day. I'm terrified of winning, but I don't want to lose, and I can't get out of my own way. There ain't no way out of here. I've tried everything. I turned around and run, but I'm too scared. And I'm running out of runway, and the pedals stuck to the floor. Oh, won't someone try to get me out of here? Standing on the edge of greatness, yeah, just a couple coffee away. I'm waiting on them to come and give me a pen, but when I feel it all start slipping away, I always overdo. Double me, I guess I did it again. Something good starts to come my way, and I feel all stop closing. There ain't no way out of here. I've tried everything. I turn around, but I'm too scared. And I'm running out of runway, and the pedals stuck to the floor. Oh, won't someone try to get me out of here? There ain't no way out of here. I've tried everything. I turned around to run, but I'm too scared. And I'm running out of runway. Yeah, the pedals stuck to the floor. Oh, won't someone try to get me out of here? Oh, won't someone try to get me out of here? Oh, won't someone try to get me out of here? I'm only ever happy in hindsight.
All right, I gotta do two quick ones.
Lonely island, dark one side. I'm praying for forgiveness sometimes, and I know the devil's got a place for me. I know, leaving home. What did I do? Fool am I? that love. I've gone, yeah, with the morning outside. Yeah, I believe in hope.
Thank you so much for listening. This is my last song. Again, my name is Matt York. I grew up here. I live on the South Shore now. My website is mattyorkmusic.com. If you would like to find out more, if you're into like the Twitter, the Facebook, all that information is there. mattyorkmusic.com. That's all you need to know about that, I think. And I'm going to play one more happy song.
Well, I'm thinking about giving up this rambling around. I can't my highway shoes. Make me when I walk, make me tremble inside. Make me away from home. Every night I lay my body down. My empty arms just leave. Well, I'm thinking about giving up this rambling around. Finding my way back home. Here I come. Well, I've always been the rambling cat. For a million miles behind. I kept on following after my life, but now I won't turn around. Every night I lay my body down, my empty arms just leave. Well, I'm thinking about giving up this rambling around, finding my way back home. Here I come. Say goodbye to all my rambling past. Oh, highway down and south side. I don't believe they'll mistake me anymore. What's one more wayward soul on to? And I'm the best in trouble around. So I'm thinking about giving up this rambling around, finding my way back home. Here I come. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming and listening.